Hi friends, and welcome to another video. I am super excited for this video. I've been wanting to do this challenge for a very long time now, and this week I am on vacation. I'm visiting family, so I kind of officially had the time slot to be able to do this video, and so yeah, I'm just super excited to start. But basically, I am going to be reading all day, every day, until I read a 5-star book. So I don't know how long this challenge is gonna last. It could be the first book I read, it could be the 6th book I've read, it could be a very long time, but I have the time to do it, so I'm just super excited to begin. And to help me on my challenge, I brought lots and lots of books. I brought 5 books from my physical TBR, and I also brought my Kindle, so I will not run out of books during this challenge, but I will talk about the books that are on my physical TBR. I might not get to all of these, I might get to all of them, who knows, but yeah, let's talk about these real fast. The first book that I think I'm going to start this challenge with is Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Faeries. I have been wanting to read this for a very long time now. I bought it as soon as I saw the cover. I was so excited about it. But yeah, it basically documents somebody, Emily Wilde, documenting fairies in just this alternate universe of our world. She's a scientist, and the book I think is supposed to be written in like a field journal type way, which I think is fascinating, so super excited to read this. The next book on my list is Cultish. This is the only like nonfiction book on my list, but I wanted to add it just in case I needed a shift or a change in what I'm reading. It talks about the language that can be found in cults, and to be wary of certain things, and it just documents it in a really fascinating way, so I'm excited to read this if I get to it. But yeah, it's kind of just here if I need a break from fiction. The next book that I have is One Last Stop. I've been wanting to read this for a very long time now, and I actually found this book in one of my little free libraries when I was depositing my own books, so I was very excited to find this, and I want to read it soon so I can put it back for someone else to find. But it basically documents a lesbian couple, which is great. I love that. And there's something to do. They meet on a train in New York City, and they kind of fall in love. I'm not really sure about anything else in the plot other than those main things, but I'm still super excited about it. And it also is one of my longest books, which is a little frightening, but I feel like it's just gonna be a fun time, so I'm super excited about it. The next book on my list is Wayward. I have seen this book absolutely everywhere on my Instagram and TikTok and just everywhere recently, so I am very excited to read this. It follows 3 women that lived in the same cottage but in different decades, and I believe it also might be a little bit magical. I'm not positive, but I think there is that inside of it. I also just adore the cover. It's just absolutely beautiful, so this is definitely on my list. I would love if I could get to this, but we'll see. Alright, and the last book on my physical TBR is Sally Rooney's Beautiful World, Where Are You? I love Sally Rooney. I'm a huge fan of her work, so I have wanted to read this ever since it came out in 2021, and I just haven't gotten to it yet. It's been years. That's how long my TBR list is. Either way, I am very excited to read this and dive into this world, and I also love that it was kind of written leading up to COVID. I know that it kind of documents the world in a very unique way, so I am very excited about this one. But yeah, so I am going to go ahead and start the challenge reading Emily Wilde, and we'll see how long this lasts. Either way, I'm excited and nervous and all the things, but let's get reading. officially done with my first read of the challenge. Unfortunately, this was not my 5-star read today. It was very close. It was a solid 4-star, but not quite 5. Either way, I absolutely loved this story. I think what kind of threw me off a little bit was I thought it was really just going to be following Emily Wilde, going through her like scientific process and like finding the fairies and like kind of focused more on that, when in reality it was more focused on kind of her relationships and her becoming a little more aware of the people around her and kind of her journey of allowing people into her life rather than kind of retreating into her scientific journey, like kind of retreating into the only thing that she knows. So I think because of that, the beginning was a little, it kind of threw me for a minute, which made it a little bit slower for me. However, once I got past that point and kind of realized that the story was much more about the relationships that she was building and more about kind of her own like hubris in trying to find fairies and different things like that, I fell in love with the story. I absolutely loved the characters. I loved the town that they were in. It was really like high stakes and I wasn't expecting that. But either way, I'm really excited for the second book. I thought it was very, very interesting. There is a bit of romance in this book. I don't know if I all the way was there for it until the very end, but it does move quite quickly. So if that's not really your thing, maybe this isn't the book for you. But I thought it was fascinating, and for someone who absolutely loves fairies and everything in that realm, this was definitely my type of book. So very excited for it. The second book, hopefully that'll come out soon-ish, because I just want to keep reading. But either way, I think my next book that I really want to read is One Last Stop. I've just been thinking about it constantly since I was talking about it with y'all at the beginning of today. So I really think I want to start reading that one, and then we'll see what's next. Morning. I stayed up really late last night reading One Last Stop. I could not put this down. I was just like hooked from the beginning. It was so good. Unfortunately, this was not quite 5 stars for me, and I think the main reason that is there's so much happening in this book that I feel like a little bit was lost. There was like 3 different plot lines happening, and it all came together in the end quite nicely, which I really loved. But I think because of like the different plot lines that were happening, it took away from the relationships and the romance, which was just a little unfortunate for me. I kept wanting to get back to like the main plot line. So that's why it wasn't quite a 5-star read for me, but definitely 4 stars. I absolutely loved it. I love the bi-representation in this book. Absolutely incredible. I don't necessarily want to spoil anything, but there is a lot of twists and turns that aren't expected, and it comes together in a really nice way. It kind of becomes like a mystery love story, which is amazing. I absolutely loved that. And I also just absolutely love the found family in this book. The other book that I absolutely loved by this author, Red, White, and Royal Blue, also had a really awesome found family. I think they just really know how to write that trope very well, and I absolutely loved it. It was just really fun and heartwarming and nice. So if you would just want like a heartwarming queer romance book that has a little bit of intrigue and mystery, you will absolutely love One Last Stop. It was just absolutely amazing. But either way, I went on my Instagram to ask y'all which book that you guys think will be 5 stars. And a lot of people said Beautiful World, Where Are You? So I think I'm going to read that one next, just to see. But a lot of y'all really loved that book, and I love Sally Rooney, so I feel like that's just definitely going to be my next read. And we'll see how it goes. So yeah, let's get reading. Alright, so I officially finished Beautiful World, Where Are You? And I am happy to say that the challenge is officially over. This was 100% a 5-star read for me. It was just absolutely incredible. It's beautifully written. The prose is gorgeous, which I wouldn't expect anything less from Sally Rooney. She's just such a talented writer. But I honestly feel like this is probably the best book she's ever written. Sally Rooney just has such an excellent way of describing relationships and connections and why people act the way that they do. But Beautiful World, Where Are You? I feel like perfectly captures this moment in time. It analyzes a lot of thoughts that I personally have been having about our current world and the current situation that we all live in, with politics and with what you find most important and how do you live day to day with the rest of the world burning around you. All of these different thoughts and feelings I feel like are very apparent in today's world. And of course I absolutely love the connections and relationships that were built throughout this novel. I feel like it shows an excellent female friendship while also having the classic Sally Rooney like romance type of deal. Everything about this book was absolutely fantastic, and one line that I feel like totally captures the essence of this book and what it's about and why it was written is this quote. So let me read this. Maybe we were just born to love and worry about the people we know, and go on loving and worrying even when there are more important things we should be doing. And if that means the human species is gonna die out, isn't it a nice reason to die out? The nicest reason you can imagine. Because when we should have been reorganizing the distribution of the world's resources and transitioning collectively to a sustainable economic model, we were worrying about sex and friendship instead. Because we loved each other too much and found each other too interesting. And I love that about humanity. In fact, it's the very reason I root for us to survive, because we are so stupid about each other. And I just feel like that perfectly captures this book. And honestly, just like life in general, I feel like with so much noise and so much going around in the world, I mean, you scroll on TikTok and you have just all of the information. I feel like what affects us most and what impacts us most is the people we interact with day to day. And yeah, this just perfectly captures that. I highly recommend reading this. It's incredible. I know people don't love Sally Rooney's like punctuation. She doesn't use quotations or different things like that. But I just love her so much. And I highly recommend this book to anyone who has not read it. I don't know, it just hit me in a really beautiful way. So That is officially the end of my challenge. I'm honestly surprised I only read 3 books. I really have to thank y'all for that because you guys were the ones who recommended this book to me. So yeah, 3 books down. All of them were pretty much fantastic. Of course, this one was the winner and the favorite, but I am excited to read the other books on my list, and I will be getting to those soon. So if y'all have read any of these or any of the books that were on my TBR, I'd love to hear your thoughts about them down in the comments. And if you want more bookish content about pretty much any genre of book, I post every single Friday at 10 a.m. So I'd love to see you here next week. But yeah, I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!